Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I've got some pretty exciting news for you, especially if you were trying to get a Cybertruck but you thought it was just a little bit too expensive. Last night Tesla actually announced that they're releasing the rear-wheel drive version of their Tesla Cybertruck. And no, the thumbnail is not clickbait. You can actually get the Cybertruck for less than $60,000, and I will show you how to do that in just a minute. But first, we're going to go through the specifications for the rear-wheel drive, and I'm going to go through the differences between the all-wheel drive and the rear-wheel drive, because even though the Cybertruck is less than $60,000, it might not be the best deal for you. All right, so here we are on Tesla's webpage. You can already see that we've got now three options. We have a long range, all-wheel drive, and a Cyber Beast. And the long range actually comes in at $58,990. Now, I mentioned to you before that the thumbnail was not clickbait, and it is not, because the long range and the all-wheel drive actually qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit. And this is where you get below the $60,000 if you live in a state that actually has an extra incentive for EVs. Like I live in Colorado. If we go into Edit Savings, you can see that it also qualifies for the $3,500 Colorado EV incentive. So you can actually get this truck for less than $60,000 based on where you live. Now we can already see on the webpage here at the top, it says that it's got an estimated range of 350 miles. Now, they say this is a long range model. 25 extra miles is not long range to me, because the regular all-wheel drive comes in at an estimated 325 miles. So I think to classify it as long range, in my opinion, it would probably need to be up in the 400 mile range, and then you can call it long range as far as I'm concerned. But again, it is 6.2 seconds for the 0 to 60, and the towing capacity is coming in at 7,500 pounds. We also have the truck bed here that you can get a soft tonneau cover for $750. It does add 12 extra miles of range, so you get 362 miles. I still don't think that's classified as long range, but what do you guys think? Would you classify an extra 32 miles as long range? Let me know in the comments below. But it does not come with the automatic tonneau cover like the all-wheel drive did, so that's already something they've taken away. We've got our towing package here. It does come with the trailer controller and the trailer brake controller. That's included in the tow package. We also have the option for 18-inch wheels. I believe the all-wheel drive was 20, but you can also get the 20-inch Cyber wheels for an extra $3,500, but you do take a little bit of a hit for that range. So to get the 350, you will need to get the 18-inch standard wheels. We also have textile seats. You can see the textile on the seats there, so no more leather with this option. I will tell you in just a minute why that's not a huge deal. Now, the reason why I said the textile seats aren't really a huge deal are, one, because I think they look pretty cool, and two, if you ever think about upgrading to leather seats in the future, there are a lot of third-party makers out there, such as Handshow and EV Base, that actually make some pretty nice premium-looking leather seat covers. The textile does look kind of nice though. You can still get regular full self-driving. Charging is the same. You can get the universal home charger and the mobile charger. We also have the power share bundles here, $2,500 for that, $380 for the mobile charger and the outlet adapter. We can still get the same accessories here. And as you can see, the bottom estimated purchase price comes out to $72,235. But after the federal tax credit, that's $64,735, and then you get the Colorado EV tax credit with that as well. So if we expand this, you can see that it is $58,990, 18-inch standard wheels, tow package, textile seats, supercharging, pay-as-you-go, 1-year premium connectivity. That's the same with all Teslas. 30-day full self-driving, again, same with all Teslas. destination fee, order fee, and at the bottom here you can see we get the Colorado incentive and the federal tax credit. So not too bad on paper. It is coming in fairly cheap. But again, I need to go over with you all of the differences between the rear wheel drive and the all wheel drive, because Tesla's taking out a lot to get the price down to this. So let's go over that right now. So here we are for the comparison. We're comparing the long range all wheel drive and the Cyber Beast. Not really Cyber Beast because there's not much difference between the all wheel drive and the Cyber Beast, but more so for the all wheel drive and the long range. So we can see that the range, again, it's like 25 miles difference. I wouldn't classify that as long range. Supercharging, it looks like the supercharging does a little bit better than the all-wheel drive does. It's 10 miles difference, not a huge deal to me. For towing, that is a pretty big difference, 11,000 all the way down to 7,500. So if you're towing, that might be a concern for you. I don't tow anything in my Cybertruck, so it's not a huge deal. But again, if you are, that might be something that you would consider. For the payload, there is a little less payload than the all-wheel drive. We're looking at about 494 pounds less than the one with the all-wheel drive. And then if we go on to our powertrain, you can see that it only has a single motor. It's not a dual motor anymore like the all-wheel drive. It does have mechanical rear locking differentials, whereas the all-wheel drive had mechanical front and rear, which is good if you're going off-roading. If you're not going to go off-roading, then you really don't have to worry about this at all. I had rear locking differentials on my old truck, my ICE truck, and I never use them. So it all depends on if you're going to go off-roading or not. For the acceleration, 0 to 60, 6.2 seconds versus 4.1. I will tell you that the speed is nice on the all-wheel drive. It's not just for racing. It comes in handy, especially if you're merging onto a highway or in a lane and you need to get somewhere very quickly, especially if there's like a semi or something and you need to like move quick. That's where the 0 to 60 time comes into play. I will tell you that it's nice to have the power when you need it. So that might be something else you want to consider. 6.2 seconds. It's not super slow and it's not super fast. I think it's about middle of the road. For the interiors, again, we get the textile seats. You can still get tactical gray, which in my opinion looks a lot better than the white anyway. You get front heated seats, not rear, so that's something that they took out as well. You still get the second row fold up seats, and you get a standard console, so there's not going to be any more display in the rear. So if you don't have kids or you never use the rear seat for anybody sitting in the back, then it's not a huge deal, because if you're only going to be sitting in the front, you're never going to use the rear display, so that might be something else to consider as well. So the all-wheel drive did have front and rear heated seats. So if you have passengers in the back again and you want to, have them have heated seats, you're not going to be able to do that with the long-range version. The front ventilated seats also come in handy, especially during the summer. So I think that right there is definitely worth it. At least it is for me, because it gets pretty hot here in Colorado during the summer months, and it is nice to have that ventilation, especially if you're driving long range. For the displays, the same display in the front, but again with the rear wheel drive only, you do not get the second row display, which again may or may not be a big deal for you. If you have kids, I think it's a great option, but you can also just get a tablet, and the tablet's going to be a much bigger screen, especially if you have more than one child. So that's something to think about as well. For the audio, the rear wheel drive only has 7 speakers, whereas the long range only has 7 speakers, and the all-wheel drive had 15, along with active noise cancellation. I think that's a huge deal because it makes the inside of the truck a lot not as noisy. Then for the audio, the long range has only 7 speakers and the all-wheel drive has 15 along with active noise cancellation. To me, that's a huge deal because it helps keep the inside of the truck nice and quiet. You're probably going to hear a lot more road noise and things like that with the long range version. That might be something that you don't care about. For me, I definitely do. And for the 15 speakers, I will tell you that the all-wheel drive, the sound system sounds amazing. And if you're going to be spending a lot of time in your car, I definitely think it's worth it. I used to drive, half an hour to work, half an hour back, and it was always nice to listen to music that whole time. So I would splurge on the audio system because you're going to be spending a lot more time in your truck and you want to enjoy the sound that's coming out of it. I don't know what the 7 speaker is going to sound like. I'm sure it's not going to be as good, but hopefully it will be adequate. Now for the exterior and the bed. So we get a standard bed, upgradable with the soft tonneau. So the long range version, again, does not come with the powered tonneau cover. So you're not going to be able to really lock up anything safely in the back of your truck. You can get the soft tonneau, but somebody can very easily just cut it open and take whatever is in the back of your truck. So that's something to keep in mind. And I will tell you that having the motorized tonneau cover is awesome. You have so much safety in the back of your truck. So if you want to, load it up with things you don't want people to have access to, you've got a ton of space back there. Now it also says it comes with headlamps without signature lamps. I'm not sure what that is. It also comes with standard bed lamps and standard tail lamps. So again, I'm not too sure what that is. As far as the tail lamps goes, it sounds like they're going to be getting rid of that long LED light in the middle of the tailgate. You will still have the 2 red lights on the side, but it's not going to be like one nice bar like the all-wheel drive does. Also, you're not going to have those L tracks in the back of your truck, which if you use your truck bed a lot and you need to fasten things down, those come in handy a lot. Now, I'm also not sure if they're going to be able to be put in later on if you want to use those. It doesn't say. So the premium bed lamps, I'm sure the lights are just going to be normal lights instead of a LED strip, which might not be too bad if you can still light up the bed in the back. I don't think it really matters. I do like the tail light, that long bar. It just kind of completes the back of the truck. Another huge difference between the long range and the all-wheel drive is that the long range is not going to have the 120 and the 240 volt outlets in the truck bed. So that might be a game changer for some people too, especially if you're going to be using your truck for work and you need to, power things up, maybe on a job site or something like that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But you can get this adapter that you can plug right into the charge port, and it will give you 2 120 volt outlets. So it's not the end of the world, but you will have to buy an extra adapter to be able to have access to those 120 volt outlets. And for the 240, I'm not sure how many people actually use that, but it is not going to be in the long range version. So again, that's something to keep in mind. For the suspension, you no longer get air suspension like the all-wheel drive does. It's just got a simple adaptive coil spring suspension, so you won't be able to raise and lower the truck like the all-wheel drive. It's probably not going to be as smooth as the all-wheel drive, and I will tell you, having the air suspension is pretty awesome. I love the fact that the truck kind of lowers down so you don't have to kind of jump into the truck, especially if you're shorter. It's a lot easier to get into the truck when it lowers with the air suspension. I believe I heard somewhere that it was going to be like 9 inches up with the coil spring suspension, which is pretty close to what the air suspension level is at when it lowers. I think it lowers to about 8 inches on the all-wheel drive, so it's going to be like 1 inch difference. Again, it may or may not be a big deal for you, but I absolutely love having air suspension. It's a super soft ride, especially when you're driving on the highway. Included with all trims are the 8 exterior cameras, the frunk, powered frunk, the interior. You still have your ambient lighting, the wraparound ambient lighting, and the connectivity. The one thing that they don't mention about the suspension is if the rear wheels are actually going to turn like they do on the all-wheel drive. So that's something else they might have taken out, but they just did not mention it here. And it looks like everything else is pretty much the same between the long range and the all-wheel drive. So it looks like it's only going to be like a $10,000-ish difference. I think they've removed a lot more than $10,000 from the truck, but they also have to keep their margins up as much as they can, and they also probably want to keep the all-wheel drive version more appealing than having everybody, purchase the long range. So we'll see if this is enough to, entice people to buy a Cybertruck now. It is definitely cheaper, but again, you're losing a lot of functionality from the all-wheel drive version. Now, in my opinion, I don't think that it's worth spending the money on the long range because you get less stuff. I would rather spend the extra money, the extra $10,000, and just buy the all-wheel drive. Now, of course, if you can't afford it, but you want a Cybertruck, then you're probably going to need to go with the long-range version. But I think if you probably wait, most likely these prices will hopefully come down. Again, if inflation stays high, these prices won't change, but hopefully in the future when inflation comes down, hopefully these prices will go down as well. So that's something to keep in mind. But if you want a Cybertruck right now, the long range version is probably going to be the option for you if you can't afford to get the all-wheel drive version. And I will tell you, having the Cybertruck now for a couple months, I absolutely love it. I don't regret my decision at all. It's a lot of fun to drive. I'm not super into the design of the truck, but I did want a Tesla and I wanted a truck. So this is the only option that I have right now until maybe later in the future they decide to maybe make another version, a different design, something like that. But what do you guys think about the all-wheel drive versus the long-range version? Will you be picking one up? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more Cybertruck videos as well as tech reviews. And if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by hitting the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.